And hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Justice Radio Network and One Point of View. Today it is Friday 21st of March or Saturday 22nd of March 2014, depending on where you are in the world. This is Jerry Jones and I am delighted to be here for another episode of One Point of View. As always, I have with me my beautiful soul sister, Sheila Bolger. Hey, Sheila.
Hi, Jerry. I must say it's really lovely to be sitting here in the sunshine doing a show. We usually do it later, but sitting here at 6 o'clock with my blinds all open, looking out at the beautiful day. That's amazing.
It really is, and we've got clear blue sky here, which is also a beautifully amazing. So absolutely, it's a whole new thing to be able to actually see everything. Usually I'm groping around in the dark here. So, yeah, it's lovely. So, on our One Point of View shows, we invite a guest to give their point of view on their passions and of all things going on in the world at this time. Today we hear Lisa Harrison's point of view. Australian Lisa Harrison has been leading the way to find truth for some time now, notably by interviewing many people on many subjects. Her knowledge is extensive due to the information shared with her. From interviewing people, she moved on to broadcasting on internet radio and opened up another arena in which to gain and share information. The 5D Media Network was born from this and now broadcasts many interesting shows. She has mostly been known for her connection to the One People Absent Limits tour in the US following the OPPT filings with UCC, Uniform Commercial Code. Lisa is well known for her ability to bring people together. The Collective Imagination show was one really useful creation which brought so many like-minded people together, and due to interacting during the shows, many new friendships were made, including mine with my sister Sheila. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome Lisa Harrison. Hey, Lisa.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for being here, and it's so nice to speak to you again. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who you were talking about there, Jerry, but...
Oh, don't be like that. I remember you giving me a slap on the wrist when I was thinking that way about myself, Lisa.
There you go. No.
I actually am loving this because the fact that you guys have got your own show, your own network, because it just feels like an extension, an expansion of it is.
Yeah, and it's very much, as I said, thanks to you putting the Collective Imagination together that Sheila and I have got together, and we've got this going, and, very inspired by what you've done.
So lovely to have you here, Lisa. I want to really begin by taking you back to the beginning of a group of events. When you started the Collective Imagination Countdown, moving up to December 2012, and then starting the One People show, come in contact with Heather and the OPPT, and your intriguing journey to Morocco. It's what I want to get to is how you were feeling energetically about everything that was going on at that time and what drew you to Morocco in the first place, apart from Heather.
Oh, wow. It sounds like you're asking me to recall past life. Okay. Well, we've been doing the Collective Imagination show about April, I think it was, of 2012. And as we were leading up to the 21st of December, it felt like, I just felt like the dates between the 12th of December and the 21st were really important. And I just really wanted to do a show every day, inviting the people that I'd interviewed over the years and some that we'd had as guests on the show, because now that we were right on the cusp of 2112, and I may have interviewed them 12 months before or 2 years before, to see how their perspective had changed now that we were right there on the threshold. So we did a show every day. And we also, leading up to that, set a really clear intent, what we wanted the world to look like after the 21st of December 2012. Mm-hmm. Because those of us who were part of the Collective Imagination, whether they were, regular callers, listeners, extended community really knew we were all going to wake up on the 22nd, and even though some of our guests didn't, we really set a clear intent over the course of several months for what the boards will look like. And then, lo and behold, Christmas Day, it was actually Boxing Day for me in Australia.
Mm.
I get a frantic Skype call from Chris Hales, right? So have you seen have you seen this website? And I'm like, guys, it's 8:00 on a Boxing Day morning. I haven't seen it. and
you still got your party hat on.
Yeah, I did.
You had an end of the world party as we know it, didn't you?
I did. Well, I did on the 21st. I did. I had. Yes, I did. The end of the space party or something. And we had a great time. And when Bob, Chris, and I were going through all the content on the One People's Public Trust website and all of those documents, we knew energetically, spiritually, consciously that this was it. That this was the 3D representation of the end of that era, the end of that age. And I mean, honestly, I didn't understand half the legalese. I don't think anybody really can say that completely. But energetically, we knew. And within 24 to 48 hours, I managed to get in contact with Heather within about 2 days through Kawila Pele, who I was in contact with. And she and I connected like sisters who hadn't been in touch for a while. It was just really, really natural. And through that, developed a relationship with Brian and Bill, American Kabuki, and Dee from Removing the Shackles. And together, we just came together on a lot of levels. There was obviously the work side of things. That we all had our own unique way of sharing information. I had the radio shows, the other guys had their blogs, but they each had their own flavour. And through this little collective that came together, we were able to share what we were learning, what we were understanding, and then it became kind of really weird because the spiritual and energetic side of things really kicked in. And what we found was all of us, myself, Brian, Bob, Dee, Bill, Heather, were having nighttime experiences, lucid dreams, where the others were all there. And we were in intense negotiations. And we all were having the same dreams, And sometimes, depending on the time zone, like it might be nighttime in America and the middle of the day for me, and I'd just get knocked out at lunchtime, Or it might be the other way around, or it might be that over the course of 24 hours, we would all have the same experience, but we were all having the same experiences of a night, or when we slept, and having these intense negotiations is what I call them, because they were always in what they depict as like a war room in a movie, when the military is getting serious about something. And but everybody was there. There would be military, there would be the cabal, there would be galactics, there would be angelics, there would be just about everybody. And Dee and I are quite a couple when you put us together, because I call us mirror twins. Mm-hmm. We are the same and yet opposite. It's hysterical. She's all long blonde braids, and I'm sort of short, dark, curly haired, and but we both love wearing work boots. I've got we love our docks and our our ass kicking boots, as we call them. And we've always both got our toenails painted black, and we've both got the exact same toe rings on the same toes. And we have the same, it turns out we have the same sort of career background in, we were both makeup artists. It's slightly different. She did fashion, I did film.
Oh, I Why did you do that, Lisa? Oh, wow, all the secrets are coming out now.
Yeah, there's just all these parallels between Dee and I. And in these lucid extreme experiences, she and I were the guards. She and I were the sentinels. We were the ones who had Heather's back. And it would always be Heather having, these intense discussions and banging her hand on the desk and what have you. And the others were sort of in the periphery. And I would literally wake up. In these dreams, I would have my arms stacked full of files and folders. I would pull out and show them, look, it's written here. Like I was holding the Akashic Records or the Absolute Records or something and showing them. And I would wake up with my arms in the air as if I was walking out of the room.
Wow.
With my arms folded. There was lots of that stuff going on. And night after night after night in some cases. And then I think in the beginning of February, I had what I call my beast vision.
Yes, I remember that one. Yes.
And that really showed me the significance of the documents energetically.
So can you briefly explain that beast vision for the people who haven't heard it before?
I'm sure I'm not going to be able to give all the details because it was...
No, just briefly, yeah. I mean, just the end of it, really.
Well, I woke up, I was conscious, I woke up with an image. It was just a static image in my mind of, like a child, sort of like a windy day, and I had clouds with blowing. It was like that. But it was more etheric. Sort of wispy smoke as opposed to solid white.
Like a dimension.
Yeah, and it wasn't sucking, it wasn't blowing, it was sucking. And I knew it was called the beast. And I knew that it was sitting in front of Source. But it was just like a flash of an image. And then as soon as I acknowledged the image, then I laid in bed for, I don't know how, I couldn't tell you actually how many minutes it was. What's that file called? It's like reading a zip file and then opening a zip file. So the image itself was the zip file, and then it opened. And when it opened, all of this information just started pouring out. And what it showed me or told me was that when I got an image of creation from Source to here in this hierarchy pyramid structure, and that this beast had positioned itself in front of Source, so that everything that would normally flow back to Source was being sucked up by this beast. And it was literally just constantly in a state of sucking and harvesting. And right through all the dimensions, all of creation, essentially, for this universe down to us. And the UCC was the physical representation or the physical implementation of this energetic harvesting system, and that it existed on every level. And that when those documents were filed, the energy of them went up, like it got inhaled. And I saw it going up through all of the dimensions and all of the different realms. And as it was going through, it was unlocking and releasing or disarming the energetic harvesting system that's been implemented on those levels. And then it got up to the beast, and the beast didn't see it coming and choked on it. Literally, and then the beast had the realization that it was choking on its own creation. And it was absolutely, it changed me. It changed the way I see everything, the way and what I know in my being to be true for me in that moment. Everything changed.
I want to just say, when you were talking at the beginning about setting up the countdown with all the people many of the people that you interviewed coming on the show, it just appeared to me that even though you didn't know it, you were gathering together everything that has happened up until that time to finish it, to go on to a new time. That's what it seems like to me when you're talking about it. It's almost as if that was the end of that event, and now there's a new event starting.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be said that way.
Yeah, and it's like you're talking found dreams lately. So much is coming back to me, and I keep blacking out as well. And I've actually had a couple of dreams that you were in, Lisa, and it's really strange because I was just talking to Jerry the other day and told her that I had a weird dream where I was on this island somewhere with some people, I don't know who they were, and we went off on a boat, and I went into this little hut, and you were in there with some other people. And you were like busy away on your computer, and I said hi. I walked into the other people, and then I left. And as we were walking out the door, someone was saying, "Oh, we didn't speak to Lisa." And I said, "Well, I think we should not disturb her at the moment, but we'll call her and ask her out for a meal later." And you messaged me this evening and said, "I'm trying to get stuff done on the computer, and there's so many people around, I can't work." So there's lots of things going on at the moment, and I just think that, for many of us, there was a big awakening on December 2012. I don't know whether it was on the 21st or whether it happened after the 1st of January.
Mm. Yeah, it's absolutely ongoing. It's daily. I mean, I don't even know, to be honest. We worked together, walked together, we did energetic doings together from January to May, to the point where it was like, we have to get together in intensity. This thing about, drove the whole Opal tour as well. There is something about coming together in intensity and bringing. We went to Morocco, we came here first time in May. So we'd been working together from January to May in a very 3D sense, both coordinating and spreading the word and writing and having both Dee and Heather on the shows regularly. But also very much energetically with these events in our dream time, but also we would do conscious awake doings, We went into the Vatican, we went into all kinds of places, banks, galactic. And it got to a point where we knew we just had to come to their intensity, as we say. There is something, every time you bring people together, you bring their energetic signature together, you create a whole new magnetic field. And that's what drove, I was saying before, which I think I cut out, that's what also drove the Opal tour, was the idea of bringing all these signatures together who were of like mind and like heart and like intent, and creating a whole new signature, a whole new magnetic field that had never been before. And that's what we got together to do last May. And we spent, Vera and I were here for a month. Brian was here for about 3 weeks. Bob was here for 2 weeks. Bill was here for a month. And towards the end of our stay here, we went off into the desert. And a lot of people have seen some of that footage from the desert.
Yes.
With the healing with Bob.
How is that going now, by the way?
Well, it's not going so well at the moment because he's in a really confined space.
All right.
So he needs because he's actually staying in a different building. He's not staying in his own apartment at the moment because we had to put Dee and her family in there. So that'll change in the next few days, and he'll have a bit more room to start getting up and practicing his walking again. But and like it was on the Opal tour, when we all met for the first time, it was like meeting family again that you hadn't seen for a while. It was like it was a reunion, and we all knew it.
Yes.
And it was incredibly comfortable. And we all had, each and every one of us had really profound expansion and growth and awakening when we all came together. Relationships, I think we actually joked at the time that we're going to have to set up a Morocco refugee camp for runaway spouses because all of the relationships broke down. Mm-hmm. And I had to go home in June and slowly go through the process of very amicably and lovingly, thankfully.
Good.
get to a place where we could both acknowledge that we were just, in very different places.
Yes.
And on very different paths. And, many, I think everybody else that was here just about did the same thing. But from that point on, it was, we talked about doing a community here in Morocco even then. And it's always been there in the back of our minds. But then the Opal Tour came up because Bob Bryan and I really wanted everybody to have the experience we had when we came here. The 5D Media listeners have become, they're not listeners, they're extended family, and it's like a big,
yes,
it's like a big community call once, a couple of times a week.
That's right. And when we did our first meetup in Ashborough that time, that was just the same for all of us in North Carolina. It was just a really profound experience where we all just, more than clicked. We were just heart and soulmates, and that continued with all our other meetups as well. So I understand exactly what you're saying. It's like the calling of groups of people to come together.
Yeah, it's the time. It's a challenge. The Opal Tour, for example, was an opportunity for us to really walk our talk.
Yes.
Unconditional love, transparency, oneness, unity, everything, and manifestation and creation, and inner tech, all that stuff that we talk about. Mm-hmm. And it was an opportunity each and every day to step into that and to walk it. And I'll be honest, not everybody was cut out for it. And not everybody, and none of us really knew what it was going to look like, No, you never do when you go into it. You're just following where the energy is pulling you, and you don't know what's going to happen when you get there. Yeah, and none of us had really been in an environment where, in our own lives, at home, so to speak, where you could live that day in, day out, all day, every day, because you're dealing with all of the things that go with just, having a life, having a regular kind of routine experience. When you're in those events and meetups, it's strange because you don't even feel like you're here. You feel like you're in another dimension. But so I know that you went several places. Do you want to talk about the contact you had with the indigenous people there and the ceremony there? Well, I can. It was a bit controversial, actually, and there was tension, but it resolved so beautifully. There was, how can I put this? We had to have a meeting initially. We've got a few people. Well, we had a few people on the tour that had legitimate reasons for using marijuana as medicine. Okay. For pain. Bob being one of them. Bob can't sit for too long without getting or laid out, without being in pain. And the property was a bit. I think it was there was no substances of any, no alcohol, no. But there were lines of communication. Nunako, there was one went and had a meeting with Mary Thunder, and in the living room, and we talked. And what was beautiful was that Grandma Mary, oh my God, she's such a character. She reminded me of my own grandmother so much. Wonderful. Incredible of laughter as well. Nothing but absolute love and respect for her. She's just gorgeous. Got all the misconceptions and the miscommunication out of the way and found our common ground. That's okay. What then transpired over the next sort of 3 days while we were there was just beautiful. We were able to, to be honest, they were a bit skeptical of this, what they probably perceived as either a bunch of hippies or people who were kind of spiritually ignorant coming together to demonstrate, this unity and unconditional love.
Uh-huh.
And they got to see us in action. And one by one, everybody associated with that property were expressed how impressed they were with the way that we all came together as a group, with the way that we worked together, with the way that we pitched in and did whatever was needed. They just weren't used to it, maybe being all talk and no action, or trying to take advantage or something.
Yeah.
And in return, what we got was a lot of love, a lot of hospitality, a lot of stories, lots of ritual and ceremony, and some memorable experiences. There were sweat lodges every night. There were we did I can't remember what they called it. It was a sun ceremony, a dawn ceremony on one of the mornings that involved just I don't know how many people. It was huge, and energetically, it was just incredible. There was so much. It felt like so much reconciliation went on that weekend. Healing so much of the past, and it's a really beautiful place, and it is open for visitors if anybody wants to go there. It's Thunder Ranch in Texas, and that weekend profoundly changed a lot of people. Going through those sweat lodge experiences, for those who were able to participate in that and stick it out, some of them had really, really profound experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And changed their lives as a result.
Wonderful.
Well, just one comment I'd like to make is that, Lisa, you've very much pointed out how much change there's been in consciousness of like yourself, the group, the crew, or whatever you want to call yourselves, and all the people on the Opal tour, the people that showed up at the various events. It just made me really look back and like how you talked about how relationships changed. And I've realized that since 2012 until now, it's just over a year since the end when you talked about those shows, and we all talked about the 2012, and on the face of things nothing appeared to happen, but so many things did. And I look at myself and I see how much I've grown in that year. I mean, I'm just not the same person now that I was a year ago. The growth, like having connected with you, having listened in on the shows, joined in on the shows, and now here I am, running shows. And I have grown so enormously, it's hard to fathom how much I've grown in 1 year. And it's very fascinating to listen to all the things you've just mentioned when you've explained what's happened to you, and all the you guys getting together, and then the Opal tour and all these people having extraordinary changes. It hasn't really occurred to me to such until now that how much I personally have grown in that year. So it's really great that you've been able to put that over, because it may be the same for other people who suddenly sort of realize, wow, I really have changed. A lot of my friends are different people now. Like Sheila and I've hooked up. I've had other really close friends for years, and they've all kind of disappeared, and I hardly communicate if at all to those sort of people. So it's very, very interesting to hear you talk about that. And make me, for one, have that realization of how much growth has been taken in a year. And so many of us sort of said, well, 2012, 21st of December, well, what really happened? I don't know. It's supposed to be energetic, but I don't really know. But sure as heck it was. Very highly.
Well, I'm sitting here in Morocco, and there's, how many are there? There's Hans, Sonia, Jorge, Christian, Julia. There's 5 people here from Norway, right? We went to Norway and spent 3 or 4 days with these people who all, as a result of we're not taking the granted experience of coming together in that environment and meeting. There was nearly 100 people at the conference, meeting other people where they. And being in an environment where they can just be themselves, and everybody understands their language, and everybody understands who they are and what they're about, is so profoundly changing within that they've turned around and changed. They're now living in Morocco from Norway.
Yeah.
Right. We had people who turned up on the tour for just a weekend, maybe 2 days, went home and turned their lives upside down, as far as anybody around them would be.
Yeah.
They quit their jobs, they ended relationships, they, whatever, because they just, coming together like this sets a new precedent for what you're prepared to accept.
Yeah.
I'm no longer going to accept being in an environment that doesn't serve me and allow me to live my highest excitement and support me and love me for who I am and allow me to be who I am without judgment and all of those things. Because I've had a taste of what that's like now, and I won't accept anything less.
Yeah. That completely resonates with how I'm feeling, although I haven't actually made any great moves physically, but my way of interacting with other people, instead of being the one that was always trodden down and I just said yes to everything and hop, skip, run, jump, Jerry, I don't do that anymore. If it suits me to do it, and I'm always here to help, but I'm not the one that's told to hop and skip and jump anymore, whereas that was all I did my entire life until lately. So I'm starting to do things to please myself as well as to please others, and that's a very big for me from where I was. So that's very interesting that you would describe that your way, that for yourself. So
well, you've got nothing to give if you're not being fed.
That's a fact. Yeah, and I've learned everything has to flow. You can't just keep giving and giving and giving. Things just get stuck. And that's what I was doing. All I was doing was giving and nothing was coming back, because all I was doing was thinking I had to do things for everyone else and nothing ever had to be done for me. And
so it doesn't have to come back from others.
No.
I mean, you can feed yourself, but you need to at least feed yourself.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got to stay in a flow. And when the flow stops, that's when you get stuck and nothing happens, and you get stuck in a place where you're not growing at all. And that seems to be the good thing that has happened, because so many people are growing, and so many people are making, even if they're only small changes, some obviously very profound changes and changing their lives and quitting jobs and that sort of thing, but others just enough to really be living in their own truth and their own power. And that way we can each help others more and more when we are in our full power and we're not just acting on conditioning. That's something I always talk about too. So, yeah. I
mean, we're even changing physically. I'm not physically the same person I was a year ago or 6 months ago. My eyes are a completely different color. I feel like I'm half the size I was. And not that I was ever big. And actually, Julia, one of the women from Norway, said to me tonight, she said, "You've just been shrinking." I was like, "No, I was slowly fading away." I've been in the hamburgers. And none of it, I'm not on a diet. I'm just not, I'm eating when I'm hungry. I don't pride myself. Winnie's on day 21. Of no food. The woman has been eaten for 3 weeks. And it didn't, and again, she is not depriving herself. When we've been out, when the rest of us are having lunch, she will have a avocado juice if she can get one. She's had 2 of those. She's had maybe the odd piece of chocolate on 2 or 3 occasions. That's it. Physically as well, at least here, people are. Darius. I mean, I think you guys know about my Christmas Day experience, where I was completely out of it for 7 hours.
Right.
I have no recall of Christmas Day. He had a mini version of that yesterday. He wasn't out for as long a periods, and he wasn't out for as long overall. But he did every symptom he described was exactly the same, even including not knowing who anybody was, not being able to remember people, not knowing their names, not, if I said to him, "Okay, do you remember Brian?" And he went, "Who?" He had no clue. And then when he finally dawned, so he had that experience, and he's really playing with energy and working with the astral body. And if anybody's interested in playing with the astral body, the remembering show that he does which he just finished, so it's every Friday night before this one, only goes for an hour. For the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's been chronicling his experience playing with this, and it's like every week, his intent is to work with the astral and manipulate that energy. I think I've gone again.
No, you're here. You're good. No, you're not.
We're doing a hokey cokey here.
Yeah, in again, out again.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, you're back. Yep.
Gone again.
Towards turning on this inner tech, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can. Oh, it's a bit blobby.
Everyone's got their own particular personal focus, even though ultimately it's all about turning on internal tech. So for Whitney, it's going through that road of not harvesting energy. Well, I was basically saying that everybody is focused on internal tech, but a different aspect of it.
Mm.
Did you get that?
Yes.
Yes, we did. Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay, so for Whitney, it's knowing that her physical body is in fact self-powering, and she doesn't need to harvest any energy from any. Yeah, yep. And for Darius, he's focused on the astral and working with the astral and sort of teleporting. That's his thing. Oh, sorry, I thought I'd blocked out. I don't think we have to go anywhere. All of it. It's all in there. It's in our DNA.
Yeah.
It's all happening in the right direction. Everything's happening in the way it's to be. It all feels right. Even the weird things that happen feel right. They feel okay. They're not alarming anymore. Nothing really is alarming anymore. However weird anything is that happens is not alarming anymore. It's just like, oh yeah, well that's all right. That's fine. Anything weird I hear is not weird anymore. It's just like, oh yeah, that's okay. That's fine. It's just everything's just becoming more and more. The weird stuff's becoming more and more normal. And the fact that I can sit and say, okay, Big Jerry, I need some good advice, or what do I need to know, and I can write this profound stuff. It's just a testament to me that I know that and if I can connect with my big self, anyone can, because I was the last person that could even start to think I could do something like that. So I think we're just like Lisa was saying, our inner technology is starting to really be accessible.
I actually feel that at the beginning, when everyone was talking about the OPPT filings and things, and several people were trying to go to the bank and trying to do different things, I think that once we realised that it was the technology that's within us, and once we realised that it was all done, I think the energy changed, and then we started to really move onto the path where we're supposed to be.
Well, yeah, we realised it's not at all about money. And in fact, more of us are backing away from money. We don't even want money involved. And we're starting to realise that it's just the case. And that was one of the really good things that was shown, was that we as people are the value. Money has no value. It's just a means of exchange, and that we can do without it when we find our inner technologies and work out how to live in communities and do all the things that I think most of us, when we look ahead, what we'd like to see, there's so many of us have got a very, very similar vision. And that may be something we could talk about after the break.
Play what was, and I hope still is, one of Lisa's favourite songs for the show break. So we'll see you after the break.
Okie dokie. Join us on Just Us Radio Network for our shows Inflowment, Imagineers, Numbers in Time, The Indigenous People's Voice, One Point of View, and the People's Round Table. Check out our website for information about upcoming shows. Just ask Google to find Just Us Radio Network and you will find links to our website and to our blog talk and Facebook pages, as well as to our podcast where you can subscribe for automatic downloads. All right, well, I guess we're back.
Yes, I'm back.
Jolly good.
And Lisa's going to try and call in again. She's having trouble
Well,
with Skype. She can't.
I'm here.
Oh, you're there.
Right,
Hi.
you're here on this one again, so
For now, anyway.
well, hopefully we'll keep his hold on there for now. So yeah, we'll just keep going and hope that we can keep the connection working. So
Yeah, I think the idea that we are the value is within us. It has changed people profoundly.
Yeah.
And the idea that anything, whether it's FRN, gold or silver or anything else, is simply a representation, is a huge shift in consciousness. I mean, there's no two ways about it.
No, I agree fully. It's huge. It's one of it's the single most important thing that came out of everything that went on the shows, between what was going on with the filings and this and that and the other, but the fact that it was actually explained in so many really good ways that it wasn't about the money, and that money has no actual value, gold has no value. And one of my favourite ones was, okay, you're on a desert island, you've got the choice between a great big chest of FRNs or another person. Which would you choose? And in the thickest, most people that wanted money would realise that the money was no help to them. And I felt that was a really good way, and I used that example a lot of times, and it really woke a lot of people up that probably would never have got it before. So I think that was a really, really...
It's so simple.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying how simple it really is.
Yes. Well, and it's interesting because we didn't think of it that way until, because we're all born, you need money, you got to have money, get a good job, go to school, learn this, that and the other, got to have a good job, got to have money, got to have money, got to have money, got to have money. But you haven't got to have money because it's not money that actually we want. It's to live a comfortable, happy life, and we need, at the moment, in these physical bodies, unless we're going to become breatharians, we need food. And that's what the money at the moment is getting us. But once you realise that it's not about the money, definitely consciousness shifted big time.
Gold stays in the mountains unless somebody digs it up. There are no FRNs unless somebody prints them.
Exactly.
So you can't take people out of the equation.
Yeah, exactly.
Any equation.
Yeah. Nothing happens without people doing things.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how much money you have. There are some people you just cannot buy.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't know. That's one of the things that was really beautiful on the tour too, was that it got done. And this is a misconception I probably should correct at this point. We went across the country on next to nothing. And it was, I mean, there are people out there who donated. I'm not denying that. And it was incredibly helpful to pay for fuel. But most of the tour, literally from Tex onwards, which is how, a third of the way in, was supported by one individual in the form of FRN. Okay, I don't know what you said, and I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you now. Yes,
Okay.
point of, yes.
Okay. Well, I was just saying that most of that tour was supported by one person who donated to the tour. But there was a large number of people, maybe around 50, who donated in small amounts. The majority of that tour was supported by one individual. And it was because that individual really received value from everything that all of us have been doing for the last year and felt there was value in bringing more and more people together and was happy to support that. People from Bob, Brian, myself, Dee, get messaged probably, and Whitney, every day from people all over the world who feel drawn to come here.
Yep. We definitely seem to be getting more and more cutouts there.
Yeah. It's not...
I am very sorry, ladies. To try and answer your question, it was the energy to start with. And we've come into an environment of a very small rural village that's very old, well established, and only consists of about 350 people. Over, it's a decent amount of land, and the only dwellings here are residences, essentially. There's one cafe building that's got apartments above it and one corner store. That's it. Other than that, they're just very rural. But the beauty of it is it is untouched. It is very much a blank.
It's a lovely environment to be in.
Would have gone for a completely blank slate, just barren land, but we didn't want to have to start from absolute scratch, because that meant we had nowhere to live initially while we worked on things and built things, and coming into an environment like this, and the people are so beautiful. I mean, everyone, and the whole. You sort of hear conversations about the Americans. We're all just piled into one big group called the Americans.
Right, yeah. It's inevitable.
They're excited because they know we represent something, and that's really cool. They know we represent change. They know we represent something.
Oh, that's good.
And they're not quite sure what it is yet, but they seem to feel really good about us. I mean, we've got a couple of the locals here who, and they're the ones. They're getting their phones ring non-stop from locals saying, are they looking, people offering their places for rent to us, or just wanting to talk to, who are they and what are they about, what do they want to do, and work, or, whatever the story is, they just want to get involved.
Yes.
We're going to have to get to a point rules. The process we have to go through. So we're going to get an update on that tomorrow, and then once we've done that, we'll go and speak to the governor of the region, and once we've done that, we'll start bringing it down the line into the local. Can you hear me?
This is making me laugh. This is making me laugh now, this conversation. Every time we try and talk about something important, we can't hear each other. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Well, we've got a QEG turning up here next month and a bunch of engineers. And, I mean, on the one hand, it feels like things are moving really slowly, but on the other hand, they're moving really, really quickly, because we've now got this beautiful place which we're in the process of trying to do up and furnish and all of that on air to act as a community centre and as a point of call, and as also it'll kind of be the workspace for all the people here, like Dee and Removing the Shackles, and Bill and American Kabuki, Caleb and Project 13, Heather and her new blog. She's a blogger now. The 5G Media Network. Jorge and his 5D Design House, and all the people who have, and the absolutely beautiful. We all sit in the same space, and work together. Will we be? I'm just seeing a question in the chat room. Will you be coordinating with
the group in Peru? Yeah, you've gone out again, Lisa. The question is, will you be coordinating with the group in Peru? I know they want to work with you. They will be doing the QEG there also.
Yeah, definitely. These well, I mean, we're calling this the One People community, and Nation or Ubuntu or One People or whatever, but we are all connecting and communicating. And whatever we learn here about what works, about what's happening here, about any technology that comes on board, we will share with anyone and everyone who wants to. I don't know how to say this other than there will be individuals who have been a part of the suppressed technologies of the cabal and controlled by the cabal.
That's a good way to put it, I think.
Come because this will be a safe place for them. So we are going to see technology spring up here in Morocco, probably for the first, as a first.
What connection does Heather have with the rulers there, with the king?
Okay, he knows she's here. He knows who she is, and he knows what she's doing, and he is leaving her alone, is what
You've dropped out again, so I'm just going to say, so you get the feeling that he is helping behind the scenes somehow?
Complicit, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can now, yes.
Okay.
And now we can't again.
While we were on the subject before you dropped out, that the onepeopleabsentlimits.com website is up, it's live, it's out there, and there is a section on there where people can list their communities.
Great. It's really fantastic to have information about how many communities are actually out there.
You are dreaming of, and you just have the land and you want the people to come to get it started, or it's already established, or, you know, whatever. If it's just a dream, even at this point, you can put it in there.
Brilliant. She put hers up on another website, which was really great too. I mean, any of those websites that people can put their communities up on, that more and more people know that they can go and look for a community by accessing these websites. And the One People Absent Limit one sounds fantastic to be able to go and find that. We've lost Lisa at the moment.
I now are trying to do all we can to support local communities in whether it's backyard gardening or going out and foraging for food, and that's why we've started this new show where we've got some fabulous people lined up to come on. So do go and visit our website. I'll put the link in the chat room here. We've got so much going on now.
Yes, we've certainly got a whole array of guests coming on our shows who are all doing different things in their own directions and their own expertise and knowledge. There's a lot to share, and that really is the object of the exercise of these shows, is to share everything we come across that we find is interesting to us, and or we will know will be interesting to our listeners, and things that people might not have heard of before. I haven't heard of Dr. Richard Miller before, and I'm really excited to hear everything he's going to share with us on the show. And, you know, likewise with some of the guests I've come across. Some people may not have come across them, and it's always interesting to put their point of view over, and then if you resonate, you follow up. If you don't, you go on to the next thing. And that's the fantastic thing about these shows, is that we're able to share all sorts of people's points of view, and it's more and more becoming that. There's so many different people that are doing different things, and it's fantastic to put out those different people that who have so many things to share, and ultimately for the one vision of which is living in
flowment and Imagineering.
Yeah, Imagineering.
And Jerry and I, although we're great partners working on this show together, we are both going in different directions because different guests are coming to us on different topics.
Yes.
I'm echoing now badly, but
That sounds okay.
Perhaps you just run through what you're doing with Kurt and Cynthia and Rena.
Yeah, well, a few people I've come in contact with, those of you who heard Kurt talking, he's done so much investigation as to what actually has been going on over the last several sort of hundreds and thousands of years in the way of getting us under control and getting us controlled so that we are doing all the things that is needed to be done to keep the system up and running and us dependent on it. And he has found ways to step out of the system, as has not exactly the same ways. And these people are offering to share what they have discovered, and all free of charge, except for maybe a few expenses. If, like, Cynthia wants to send you some paperwork or stuff like that, she'll ask for a few, very, very few FRNs. But basically, Kurt wants to share his documents for free. He doesn't want to charge. He's not in it for money. He's just sharing what he's discovered. And anyone that's interested in doing what he's doing, slowly but surely will pick up the pieces. But we have to understand what it all means. You can't just go filing papers when you don't know what they mean fully. So that's why he's going to come on with us every third Saturday of the month and share more information, take calls, answer questions. The first show was very much for him to just share and get in a flow and put out what he had to share. After that, he's willing to answer questions, and we'll slowly but surely put pieces together for that. I also have Kevin Innes coming on this Saturday on the Inflowment Show, and he's doing all sorts of wonderful things with getting people to become financially free, questioning who they're paying payments to in the way of loans and mortgages and stuff like that. And also I have Rena Iliades coming on again. She was on the Inflowment Show a few weeks back, and she's very much connected to Swissindo. And so many of us have questions about that. So many people are against it. Other people are, interested. It's always good to find out. She's very deep into that, seems to have a lot of information. So I'm like, well, come on and share with our listeners what you have to share. And that's the beauty of this. It's about just sharing. It's not something being jammed down your neck. This is true. This is this and this and this and that. This is what our point of view is. And this is what our guest points of view are. And that's what we're here to do. It's a sharing. Isn't that what you feel, Sheila?
Yes, absolutely. And we've got Michael Lightweaver from the Mount Light Sanctuary coming on with his amazing experiences.
And he's somebody that's really been out there doing. I mean, he's created that beautiful sanctuary. I mean, it's like a community.
Exactly, and he built all the outbuildings from bamboo that grows on his land.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He grows all his own things, and he actually is what he calls a Stargate hypnotist. He is trained in hypnosis, and he helps a lot of people with that. He's also an author, so that'll be an amazing experience. So we've got so many things coming on, and I just want to say here on the show, while we're trying to get Lisa back again, that it is Lisa that brought us all together and really triggered what we're all doing now, even though we're going off in different directions. We were all brought together on those shows for a reason, and now, like Lisa says, it's all branching out with other shows. There's so many shows going on now because people have found their voice at last.
Yes.
And that brings me to the Indigenous People's Voice as well. We've now got every Monday. At the moment, they're really, really trying to get all their tribes together, and they do feel a unity with all peoples in all the world, but they've had so much experience in their life, they're basically concentrating on trying to get their tribes together at the moment. But it's a really interesting show, and I know Joey hasn't heard a lot of what's gone on here, but it's about moving forward now and really doing what the earth wants us to do.
Yes, indeed. And there's just so, and it's really interesting to me listening to the first two shows in just voice. Their vision is just my vision. It's to bring people together. They always talk about, we don't need to dwell on the past. We don't need to dwell on the damages that were done to the indigenous people and all of that. Let's just move forward. Let's go to where we want to be. And that's what our vision is, I feel. That's where we all, basically, all humanity that is conscious and is awake, we've all very, very similar vision as to where we want to go and live in peace and harmony with each other and have some fun, create some brilliant stuff, like creating those beautiful cabins and stuff out of the materials that are on the ground that Mother Nature has supplied. Those it's just so incredibly beautiful. There was a place in Jamaica I stayed at a couple of times, and it was very similar as what you described. The place in Asheville is that they built everything from just local woods, just stuff that's fallen down from trees, and they've just put it together and made them each one unique. It's just so beautiful when you see that sort of stuff done with skill and creativity.
I think what we're going to do is have some music so we can concentrate on getting Lisa back.
Right.
I'm going to play some music because Chase Binnie has generously and kindly allowed us to play all his music on our show. And this is the one that we've chosen to start with. Unity in community. So awesome. Enjoy the music. Time for a dance.
Yeah, this is a good one to dance.
What's going on here?
Awesome.
Speak to you soon.
Okay.
People stuck in fear and worry, like what's gonna come is such a mystery. I tell you right now, the future is ours to make, and a new world is waiting for us to create. If we all start thinking unity, we can make this world a community. One people, one community, unity. We all start thinking unity, we can make this world a community. One people, one community, unity. No matter what you say, no matter who you are, love is the way. No matter what you believe, no matter what you say, no matter who you are, love is the way. Vision of a better place. I see all the colors making one rainbow race. We are so different, but deep down we're the same. No matter who you are, love is the way. All I really want to do is see this world become a peaceful place. All I really want to do is see you heal yourself and put a smile on your face. If we all start thinking unity, we can make this world a community. One people, one community, unity. If we all start thinking unity, we can make this world a community. One people. What you believe, where you're going, where you live, no matter what your race, your ethnicity, no matter who you love, your sexuality, there's something beyond, underneath, it's called love, that's what we need. The world is unity, unity. If we all start thinking unity, we can girl, it's community. One piece, no matter what you believe, no matter what you say, no matter who you are, love is the way. No matter what you believe, no matter what you say, no matter who you are, love is the way.
Okay, so we're back after the break, and Lisa is completely offline now, so obviously her internet's down. So I think me and Jerry will chat for a while to see if she can come back on again. What do you think, Jerry?
Yeah, I think definitely we'll just give it a few more minutes and give her a chance. So, sometimes those internet connections just drop off and then they come back. I know it's happened with them on the shows from time to time. They disappear. The next thing they're back loud and clear. So.
And I don't know what my echoing was. It was really bad, and I've not experienced that before. I've actually taken my headphones off now, and it's really okay, so that's really weird.
Yeah, and I don't think it was me because I was muted that entire time, so I don't know. It's all very strange, all this. But, it works most of the time, so we'll just keep cracking on.
Yeah, and I can just go through my feelings of what I feel is going on, in this times. Apart from everything did change in 2012, and we are moving forward in the right direction. And I can tell, even with what's going on with us, and to think that, Jerry, you and I just started this radio show to chat with our friends, and now we've got guests lining up from all over the planet, wanting to come on our shows. And
I know, and I send out, I send a message and say, do you think you would possibly have time to come and, share with us a little bit of what you've got to talk about? And I would love to come on your show. And I'm like, really? Like you with Dr. Miller, right?
I just
nothing ventured, nothing gained, and
I just gone to bed, and I was just lying in bed thinking to myself, who can I have on as a guest? And his name just came into my head, so I emailed him, and he gave me his Skype details. So, and next thing I know, he's like calling me. He calls me every couple of days for a chat. So
it's really cool.
It's amazing the way things are going on.
Yes.
I've had some amazing experiences with him. I talked briefly about things that are going back in my past with my different experiences in time travel, and that just seems to be in my mind lately, everything that's happening. I mean, I went to Project Camelot the other day and saw an interview from a while ago that I hadn't heard before, and I thought, let me see what that's about. And it was all about time travel.
Wow.
It's just like really crazy. And then I was speaking to Dr. Miller about time travel as well with his experiences. So he's actually doing 2 shows for us. He's doing the 1st of April on the Unity and Community. But then we're actually, because he's got so much information, Jerry and I are doing a one point of view with him on the, what date is it again? The 11th? The 11th of April.
Yes, the 11th.
Yes, where we're going to talk about all his other stuff.
The 11th.
And his experiences with Navy SEAL training, and his experiences with time travel and ESP and telepathy and all the different things that he's into.
Yes, so there's so many brilliant voices coming out there. So I'm really excited about all the things that are on their way, and every time I think, oh blimey, we've got nobody for the show, suddenly like, oh, I know who I can ask, and they say, oh yes, I'd love to come on your show. I'm like, wow, it just keeps on being more and more people. And the great thing is these things are on the archives, and you can go back and listen to them any time that you feel like suddenly you want to reconnect, or you want to wonder what that person did say. And it's just so brilliant to be able to re-access all these conversations, listen to them as many times or parts of them as you need to get through to what that person was saying, and then you're like, do I resonate with this or not? If I do, yes, let's follow up this more. If I don't, okay, let's move on to the next person. And there's just so many things. We don't have to resonate with it completely. We have to a certain level, of course, but we don't have to completely to put it out there to give the person a voice to share with our listeners, and hopefully our listening audience is just growing and growing, and more interest, and we're getting some good stuff out there. And for me, it's just the sharing thing. It's just sharing.
And that's why we decided on our names. Like, I'm echoing again now, even without my headset, so this is weird. Anyway, that's why we decided on the names for our show, and we decided to call our guest interviewers One Point of View, to remind everybody that it is their point of view, and we don't necessarily agree with all or anything that they say. We're just asking them to say their feelings from their heart. That's all.
Yeah, and particularly, like you're saying, from their heart, because that's the people we're choosing. We're choosing people that are passionate about what they're doing. They're putting their life's work, their heart and their soul into sharing what they're sharing, having done all the investigation and finding out how all these things have been happening and working and all of that sort of. They've just spent so much time working all this stuff out, understanding what the terms mean, the phraseology, the definitions of words, and they've done so much intense work and come up with these amazing revelations. And for the most part, so far, the people we've had on, I've really resonated with people on. But I'm not going to say every single person we have on we 100% resonate with, because I feel it's important to put every point of view out there that we can, that we happen to be drawn to, or it's drawn to us. Like you, Sheila, you were drawn to Dr. Richard Miller because you happened to be upon that interview, and it was for a reason. And then, of course, you made the connection. So anything we make connections with without any major difficulty is meant to be.
I also, while we're here and just chatting, I'd like to give a shout out for all the that have supported right through.
Yes.
Linda, Richard, Deborah, Denmark, Marie, Jill, George, wonderful George.
Yeah, George is always here.
Even though he keeps popping in and out. Yeah. And Blog Talk has been funny lately in the chat room. People are having difficulty staying on. I wonder sometimes whether they've just got too many shows going on now.
That's the thing. You know, there are a lot of shows, there are lots of very, very wonderful things going out. And I was lucky enough to be asked on to India Irie's network and Expanding You, and I shared some of my poetry there. And they're putting out a lot of really good shows, the show every day. And it's great. I mean, it is hard for people to pick and choose as to which ones to listen to. But the beauty is that it's going out there, and if you happen upon it, that's for you.
And we're doing 5 shows a week now ourselves.
Right, yeah, we definitely getting up there, and the Indigenous people are having their energy attached to our network. It has been the most beautiful experience for me. I just feel the love. It just on that first round table when you had them in, I just felt the love, just hearing their voices without even interacting with them, just hearing their voices. I could feel the grace coming from those beings.
And because of their energy, they've also be similar to us now, a couple of us radio shows, and I have people asking us if we want to similar to us on our shows as well. So
wow.
It's doing it there.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's all coming together in a very nice way. We're only barely, not even 3 months into these shows, and it's all going in flowment. Everything, every show, even now we've lost our guest. But it's very nice just to continue on with this same energy that Lisa's put into it. And I was very inspired to hear. And, you know, it just made me really realize how much I've grown myself. When Lisa was explaining about all the experiences she'd had, she'd witnessed other people having experiences and people growing. And I just really realized in 1 year, I was on a path, and I'd come a long way in the previous 9 or 10 years, but in the last year, oh my goodness, I have just grown so enormously and beautifully, and I have so much appreciation to Lisa and all the crew and everyone that's put these shows out there, information, everything, all sorts of radio shows, articles. I've listened to audio books. I've kept being pointed in the direction to the things I need to hear. And I've found that if I get a little, say, hey, this is interesting, and I look at it and I think, oh, that is interesting, I'll listen. And a lot of listening has been taking place, and by goodness, it's been outstanding for me. So, and I want to thank all the people out there that have been listening in and supporting us. Like Sheila just said, without you guys, you know, we wouldn't be going anywhere without your support and love, and we feel it and really appreciate it. And we'll get back together again, all the North Carolina crew again, hopefully this summer.
That's right. Now the sun's coming out.
Mm-hmm. Warming up.
Even for only a couple of days before it snows again.
I know, yeah.
But just a reminder that people can go to the 5D Media Network site and look at everything that's going on in Morocco, look at the community site that they're setting up there and get all the information from there. And if anybody has any questions or anything, they can always email me or Jerry, and we can pass it on to anyone that they don't have a link to. So that's cool.
One People Absent Limits website, didn't she? That was where she said the community page was for people to link to communities that are opening up all over the place.
Right.
So, that's a website we need to all, you know, I'm trying to get it in here and see if I can find it. I don't know if I've been there before or not. I don't know whether it was onepeopleabsentlimits.com, but it's definitely worth. Yeah, I think that might be it. It's definitely going to be worth connecting with as many people as we can, and these communities. And I know, Linda, you definitely had put yours onto a website where your community onto a website where there's lists and lists of communities, and that's a fantastic thing to have, to be able to find. Now, if we just decide we want to quit our jobs, well, what better place to go to a community where we can give our energy and our value by using our physical bodies to help, and in return for something to sustain ourselves and shelter. I mean, that would be what, if I had nowhere to go, I'd start looking for somewhere like that, I think. So here we are. George has put it in, onepeopleabsentlimits.com, yes. So,
do you know what I think we're going to do now? I know we've got someone on the board, but they don't have their hand up, so unless they want to speak, I think what we'll do is, people seem to be enjoying themselves in the chat room, so I think we'll just play some music, let everybody have a little sing-along and chat in the chat room, and if we hear anything, we'll come back. Yeah,
if we get hold of Lisa again, we'll bring her back in if she manages to log back in. So sure, yeah. Go ahead, Sheila. Bring it on.
Singing songs of love and peace, we will come together. Make this world better when we come together. Singing songs of love and peace, we will come together. Make this world better when we come together. We all in this together. We all in this together. Make this world better when we come together. We all in this together. We all in this together. Make this world better when we come together. It's time to stop our fighting. Come together, be enlightened. Make this peace start from inside. Let it shine out to the skies. Be the beauty that you seek. Be what you want and be unique. Be a princess, be a freak. Shout it from the mountain peak. No one tells you who you are, it's you. Only you know what's true for you. We can all be different and take a stand. Cross the borders, we hold hands. We hold hands. The earth is one family, we hold hands. We hold hands. We hold hands. The earth is one family, we hold hands. Singing songs of love and peace, we will come together. Make this world better when we come together. Singing songs of love and peace, we will come together. Make this world better when we come together. We all in this together. We all in this together. Make this world better when we come together. We all in this together. We all in this together.
together. Make this world better when we come together. It's time to celebrate. Look around and appreciate. See the beauty of this life. No matter what your day was like, see yourself for who you are. You are brighter than the stars. Find a mirror, say it loud. Smile and say I love myself. When you found the love within, you can spread it to your friends. Soon we all be singing. Across the land, across the oceans, we hold hands. We hold hands. The earth is one family, we hold hands. We hold hands. We hold hands. The earth is one family, we hold hands. Singing songs of love and peace, we will come together. Make this world better when we come together. Singing songs of love and peace, we will come together. Make this world better when we come together. We all in this together. We all in this together. Make this world better when we come together. We all in this together. We all in this together. Make this world better when we come together. We all in this together. We all in this together. Make this world better when we come together. We all in this together. We all in this together. Make this world better when we come together.
Well, we certainly are all in this together, and it's wonderful being together with such a group of beautiful beings. You lovely, beautiful people in the chat room, we really appreciate your being here. I'm very sorry that we lost Lisa. I hope you can get something from the archive and hear some of the things she said. And maybe in time when she's on a better connection, we'll get her on again and have a really good conversation. It's a little bit tricky when it's slipping in and out. So
Joey, do you have the correct link for Chase's music? I've put a link in there and it's not right. I tried to write what I've written here. I know it's Binnie.bandcomp.
That's right. And I had it up here early, so yes, let's see.
You can put that in the chat.
Put that in the
Chase says
earlier. Yes.
Chase says we've spoken to Chase and he's allowed us to play his music on our shows, so that's really great.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and they're just so appropriate. All his songs are so appropriate for what we're talking about here. So yeah, let's spread the word about his music because it certainly is so beautiful and appropriate, and what a message. So I'm really glad that he's for us to play his music on the show. So yeah, they're absolutely awesome.
So I think we're just saying goodbyes now. And thank you for persevering, and we'll see what we can do with the archive show, see if we can clean it up a bit. I think I'm going to just go out now when you put that link in there with Angie with Green Apples.
Oh, that will be lovely.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Anyone that's around this evening, we'll be here with Inflowment with Kevin Innes. He's learned a lot about law and the philosophical tenets that give credibility to law, and he began a mission of winning back his financial freedom, and he's like to share what he's learned, and this is really cool because this is what these people are doing. They're sharing stuff they've learned, and they're willing to share it with those that would also like to learn this sort of thing. So, I think he's worth having a listen to. So anyone that's around, join us at 8 o'clock. We'll be here on Justice Radio Network. All right, Sheila, bring it on.
Double rainbow
solid hollow and keep me sailing in this ocean of you. That's why you're toast and jam. You are cotton candy, double rainbow beside a setting sun. Your wood burning outside, there's a fire glowing, the sweetest green apple. You must be the one to take me to an altar of diamonds and run with me through sheets of jungle rain. Show me all your manly mysteries and let me heal your beautiful pain. Leave my island in crowds of faces, my oasis. There and lead me to the holy water and introduce me to the place you are from. Wherever you go, you know I will follow to take me there, and I will come. I will come. You're toast and jam. You are cotton candy, double rainbow beside a setting sun. Your wood burning outside, there's a fire glowing, the sweetest green apple. You must be the one. Your sweetest green apple. You must be the one. Sweetest green apple. You must be the one. Sweetest green apple. You must be the one.